Stop scrolling, my child. Before you move on to another video, another message, another distraction, listen carefully because heaven interrupted your day for a reason. You were not led here by chance. You did not accidentally find these words. Out of all the things you could be doing right now, out of all the places your attention could have gone, you are here, and there is a reason. My child, I have been trying to reach you, through the quiet moments you ignored, through the restless nights you could not explain, through the feeling that something was missing even when everything around you seemed normal. I have whispered to your heart more times than you realize. I have spoken through closed doors, through unexpected delays, through moments of loneliness, through the tears you hid from everyone else. But the noise of the world became louder than my voice. You kept telling yourself that you would listen later. Later when life became easier. Later when your problems disappeared. Later when you had more time. But now, later has become today. This moment is not ordinary. Heaven has interrupted your day because your soul needs to hear what your mind has been avoiding. Something inside you has been tired. Something inside you has been searching. You have tried to fill the emptiness with work, with distractions, with people, with plans, but the ache remains. You know it. You feel it when the room becomes quiet. You feel it in the middle of the night. You feel it when everyone leaves and you are alone with your thoughts. My child, I see the battle that no one else sees. I know the prayers you stopped praying. I know the tears you never showed. I know the fears you carry behind your smile. And that is why I brought you here. Not to condemn you, not to shame you, not to remind you of your failures. I brought you here because I love you. Right now, heaven is asking you to stop running for just a moment. Stop scrolling. Stop worrying. Stop trying to figure everything out by yourself. Be still long enough to hear my voice again. You have asked for signs. You have asked for answers. You have asked, God, are you still there? My child, this is your answer. This is your sign. This is your moment. Do not let this pass like every other message. Do not convince yourself that there will always be another opportunity. You do not know what tomorrow holds, but I know. That is why I interrupted your day today, because before this day ends, I need you to remember one thing. You were never forgotten. You were never abandoned, and heaven has never stopped reaching for you. My child, I need you to understand something before we go any further. Nothing you have suffered has escaped my eyes. I saw the battles you never told anyone about. I saw the tears you quickly wiped away before anyone noticed. I saw the nights when you lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering how much longer you could carry the weight that was pressing against your heart. You smiled for people while you were breaking inside. You encouraged others while you felt empty yourself. You told everyone that you were fine because you were afraid they would not understand the pain you carried. But I understood. I was there. I was there during the nights when anxiety stole your sleep. I was there during the mornings when you woke up exhausted before the day even began. I was there during the moments when you sat alone, wondering why life felt so heavy. You thought no one noticed. You thought no one cared. But I saw everything. I saw the pressure you never spoke about, the financial worries, the broken relationships, the disappointments, the unanswered prayers, the dreams that slowly faded, the fear that tomorrow might become harder than today. You carried these burdens quietly because you believed you had to be strong. You believed that asking for help would make you weak, so you learned to suffer in silence. But my child, I never asked you to carry all of this alone. Many times you cried without words. Many times your heart prayed even when your lips remained silent. Many times you sat in a room full of people and still felt completely alone. I was sitting beside you. When your heart whispered, I cannot do this anymore, I heard you. When your mind told you to give up, I stayed close. When you felt invisible, I was looking directly at you. There were moments when you questioned your worth. Moments when you wondered if your life mattered. Moments when you compared yourself to others and felt like you were falling behind. The enemy used those thoughts to convince you that you were forgotten. But you were never forgotten. You were never abandoned. You were never alone. My child, I know the pain that you hide behind your smile. I know the disappointment that you bury beneath your responsibilities. I know the wounds that still hurt even though years have passed. You have carried hurt from people who walked away. You have carried words that damaged your confidence. You have carried failures that still haunt your mind, and because of these things, you began to build walls around your heart. You stopped trusting. You stopped hoping. You stopped expecting good things to happen. You convinced yourself that disappointment was safer than faith. But I saw the little spark inside you that never completely died. Even during your darkest seasons, something inside you kept searching. Something inside you kept hoping. Something inside you still believed that there had to be more. That was me. I was the voice telling you not to quit. I was the strength that carried you through days you thought would break you. I was the peace that appeared without explanation. I was the reason you survived seasons that should have destroyed you. There were days when you thought you had reached your limit. Days when you believed you could not continue. Days when you wondered if anyone truly cared. Yet somehow you kept moving forward. You took another step. You survived another day. You found enough strength to keep going. My child, that strength did not come from nowhere. I was holding you when you could not hold yourself. I was carrying you when your own strength failed. You may not have felt my presence, but I never left. Not for one moment. Not during your tears. Not during your fears. Not during your failures. Not during your doubts. I have watched every battle you fought in silence. And today, I want you to hear these words clearly. You do not have to pretend anymore. You do not have to carry everything alone. You do not have to hide your pain from me. Bring your burdens to me. Bring your fears to me. Bring your broken pieces to me. Because the battle that nobody saw was never invisible to heaven. I saw every tear. I heard every prayer. And my child, I am still here. My child, there were many moments when you believed I had become silent. You prayed, but the answer did not come. You waited, but the door remained closed. You asked for direction, yet all you could see was confusion. And because nothing seemed to change, you began to wonder if I had forgotten you. But I need you to hear me now. My silence was never my absence. What you called silence was often my protection. There were prayers you begged me to answer that would have led you into places that would have broken your heart. There were doors you desperately wanted opened that would have taken you far away from the peace I had prepared for you. You saw rejection. I saw rescue. You saw delay. I saw protection. You saw loss. I saw preservation. Many times you stood before a closed door and asked, "Why, Lord?" You felt disappointment when opportunities disappeared. You cried when relationships ended. You felt abandoned when people walked away. You became frustrated when your plans collapsed. But my child, not every closed door is punishment. Sometimes a closed door is mercy. Sometimes a delay is love. Sometimes what breaks your heart today is saving your life tomorrow. There were people you wanted to stay, who could not go where I was taking you. There were opportunities that looked perfect, but carried hidden pain. There were dreams you held tightly that would have left your soul empty. I could see what you could not see. I could see the road ahead. I could see the wounds that would come. I could see the dangers hidden behind the things you desired. So I intervened. I slowed you down. I redirected you. I allowed certain things to fall apart. Not because I wanted to hurt you, but because I wanted to protect you. You remember the times when life suddenly changed, the plans that failed, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that disappeared, the answer that never came. You thought I was being silent, but I was speaking through circumstances. I was saying, "Trust me." I was saying, "Not this way." I was saying, "There is something better that you cannot yet see." My child, I know how difficult waiting has been for you. You wanted immediate answers. You wanted clear direction. You wanted certainty. But faith often grows in seasons where answers are delayed. The waiting was not wasted. The silence was not empty. While you were waiting, I was working. While you were crying, I was preparing. While you were questioning, I was protecting. There were battles you never saw. There were dangers that never reached you. There were disasters that never happened. There were mistakes you almost made. And many times my hand stood between you and what would have harmed you. You call some things coincidence. I call them mercy. You call some things bad timing. I call them divine protection. You call some seasons wasted. I call them preparation. Even now there are things you still do not understand. There are questions that remain unanswered. There are disappointments that still hurt. But one day you will look back and realize that the very things that broke your plans were the things that saved your future. You will understand why the door closed. You will understand why the answer delayed. You will understand why the path changed. Because I was not abandoning you. I was guarding you. My child, do not measure my presence by how quickly I answer. Do not measure my love by how easily life unfolds. I have been with you in every delay. I have been with you in every disappointment. I have been with you in every unanswered prayer. And even now, as you look back over the pieces that seem broken, I want you to trust me once more. Because what you called silence was often my hand protecting you from things your heart could not yet understand. I was there. I am here. And I am still guiding your steps, even when you cannot yet see the road ahead. My child, there was a time when hearing my voice felt easier. You could feel my presence in the quiet. You could sense me in the beauty of the sky. You could find me in prayer, in stillness, in simple moments that brought peace to your heart. But slowly something changed. The world became louder than my voice. Day after day the noise increased. Your mind became filled with worries. Your schedule became crowded. Your attention became divided. You woke up thinking about responsibilities. You went to sleep carrying anxiety. You filled every empty moment with something: your phone, your work, your plans, your fears, your distractions. And without realizing it, the noise around you became stronger than the whisper inside you. My child, I have never stopped speaking, but you have been listening to too many other voices. The voice that tells you that you are not enough. The voice that says you are falling behind. The voice that says everyone else is succeeding while you are failing. The voice of fear. The voice of shame. The voice of disappointment. The voice of the world. Every day those voices compete for your attention. They tell you to chase more, earn more, become more, prove yourself, keep running, keep striving, never stop. But your soul was never designed to live in constant noise. That is why you feel exhausted. That is why you feel restless even after sleeping. That is why you feel empty even after achieving things you once desired. Your soul has been longing for something that the world cannot give. It has been longing for me. My child, you spend hours listening to opinions, news, fears, and endless distractions. Yet you rarely allow yourself enough silence to hear the voice that loves you most. You scroll, searching for peace. You search for answers. You look for comfort. But peace does not live inside the noise. Peace lives in my presence. The world promises satisfaction, but it leaves you hungry. The world promises success, but it leaves you anxious. The world promises acceptance, but it leaves you insecure. Only my voice brings rest to your soul. Remember the moments when everything became quiet and you suddenly felt something inside you say, "Slow down." That was me. Remember the times when you felt the urge to pray even though you could not explain why. That was me. Remember the moments when your heart felt convicted, when you knew something needed to change, when you felt drawn toward hope. That was me. I have been speaking inside your spirit all along. But the world teaches you to fear silence. You keep yourself busy because you are afraid of what you might hear if everything became quiet. You run from stillness because stillness forces you to face your heart. Yet it is in stillness that I speak most clearly. My child, I am not asking you to escape the world. I am asking you to stop allowing the world to become your master. You were never created to be controlled by anxiety. You were never created to live under endless pressure. You were never created to carry the weight of everything by yourself. You were created to walk with me. The more you chase the noise, the more exhausted you become. The more you chase approval, the emptier you feel. The more you seek peace in temporary things, the further peace seems to move away. Because the peace you are searching for is not found in the world. It is found in me. My child, I know how difficult it has been. You have been trying to survive, trying to provide, trying to fix everything, trying to hold yourself together. And somewhere along the way, you forgot how to rest. You forgot how to listen. You forgot that you do not have to carry every burden alone. Right now, I am asking you to become still. Again, turn down the noise. Step away from the fear. Silence the voices that tell you you are not enough. Listen carefully. Can you feel the peace beginning to return? Can you feel the weight becoming lighter? That is my presence. I have not left. I have not become silent. I have been waiting patiently beneath the noise. And now, in this very moment, I am speaking to you again. My child, the world may be loud, but my voice is still stronger. The world may offer fear, but I offer peace. The world may leave you empty, but I offer life. Come back to the quiet. Come back to the stillness. Come back to the place where you can hear me again, because I have never stopped calling your name. My child, there is something you must understand about the battles you have faced. The enemy does not attack what has no value. He does not fight what carries no purpose. He does not waste his strength on empty things. The intensity of your battle has often been the evidence of your calling. The darkness came because there was light inside you. The pressure came because there was purpose upon your life. The attack came because the enemy feared what you would become if you fully trusted me. Many times you asked, why has life been so difficult? You looked around and saw others moving forward while you felt surrounded by obstacles. You wondered why disappointment seemed to follow you. Why fear appeared when you wanted to move forward. Why discouragement came whenever hope began to grow. My child, some battles are not merely physical. Some battles happen within the heart. Some battles happen within the mind. The enemy knew that if he could convince you to doubt yourself, you would stop walking toward your purpose. If he could fill you with fear, you would stop moving. If he could make you believe that you were forgotten, you would stop trusting me. That is why he attacked your confidence. That is why he attacked your peace. That is why he attacked your relationships. That is why he attacked your hope. He wanted you to believe that your story was over. But I tell you the truth. The attack was never proof that I abandoned you. The attack was proof that something valuable exists inside you. You carry gifts you have not yet discovered. You carry strength you do not yet understand. You carry purpose that heaven has already seen. The enemy saw your potential before you did. He saw the faith that would one day rise inside you. He saw the testimony that would come from your pain. He saw the healing that would emerge from your brokenness. And because of that, he tried to stop you before you reached the place I prepared for you. Think about the seasons when fear became strongest. The moments when you wanted to quit. The days when you felt completely exhausted. The nights when discouragement whispered that nothing would ever change. Those were not the moments when I was far away. Those were the moments when I was closest. When you were weak, I carried you. When you could not see the future, I protected it. When you could not fight, I fought for you. My child, the enemy attacks with lies. He says you are too late. I say there is still time. He says you are too broken. I say I can restore you. He says your failures define you. I say my grace is greater than your past. He says nothing will change. I say your season is about to shift. For years you have listened to voices that produced fear. You listened to anxiety. You listened to disappointment. You listened to the opinions of others. But today I want you to hear my voice instead. You are not defeated. You are not forgotten. You are not powerless. The battle has been difficult because your future carries value. The resistance has been strong because your calling carries purpose. The enemy attacked what he feared most. He feared your faith. He feared your obedience. He feared the day you would stop listening to fear and begin listening to me. Even now, some of you are fighting invisible battles. Battles with anxiety. Battles with doubt. Battles with loneliness. Battles with shame. You smile while carrying wounds nobody knows about. You continue moving while feeling exhausted inside. But hear me carefully, my child. You are stronger than you realize because I am with you. The battle has not destroyed you. The pressure has not broken you. The darkness has not overcome you. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still seeking. And that means the enemy failed to stop what heaven began. Do not surrender to fear now. Do not quit at the edge of your breakthrough. Do not believe the lies that have followed you for years. The attack was never the end of your story. It was evidence that your story still matters. My child, the enemy fought what he feared. He feared the person you are becoming. He feared the faith that is rising inside you. He feared the moment you would finally realize that you were never fighting alone, because when you stand with me, no darkness can overcome the light I placed within you. And the very battle that almost convinced you to give up may one day become the testimony that helps someone else find hope. My child, before we continue, I want you to pause for just a moment. If these words have touched your heart, if you feel my presence speaking to you right now, do not ignore this moment. This is not simply a video. This is a conversation between heaven and your heart. If you are still listening, I believe it is because your spirit recognizes my voice. So I want you to make a small declaration of faith. Type these words in the comments. Lord, I hear you. Let that be your prayer today. And if this message has encouraged you, share it with someone who may be carrying a burden in silence. There may be another heart that needs to hear these words exactly when you heard them. Subscribe to this channel and continue walking with me through these messages of hope, faith, and restoration. Now stay with me until the end, my child, because what I am about to tell you next may be the very answer you have been praying for. My child, there are things I have done for you that you will not fully understand until one day you stand in my presence and see your story through my eyes. You often ask me where I was. You ask why life became difficult. You ask why certain things happened. But today I want to tell you about the things that never happened, the dangers you never saw, the disasters that never reached you, the doors that never opened, the mistakes you almost made. Because many times while you believed you were walking alone, my hand was standing between you and what would have destroyed you. There were roads you wanted to travel that would have led you into pain. There were relationships you wanted to keep that would have wounded your heart. There were opportunities you desperately wanted that would have taken you far away from your purpose. You cried when those things disappeared. But my child, I was protecting you. There were moments when you arrived late and became frustrated. Moments when plans suddenly changed. Moments when something inside you told you not to move forward. You thought it was inconvenience. You thought it was bad luck. You thought life was working against you. But sometimes my protection looks like delay. Sometimes my mercy looks like interruption. Sometimes my love looks like a closed door. You do not know how many times I placed my hand upon your life. When danger came close, I was there. When fear surrounded you, I was there. When destruction approached, I was there. You call it coincidence. I call it grace. You call it luck. I call it mercy. You call it survival. I call it my hand carrying you. Think about the times when things should have been worse than they were. The moments when you somehow found strength you did not possess. The situations that could have ended differently. The problems that should have overwhelmed you. Yet somehow you survived. Somehow you kept moving. Somehow you reached this day. That was me. When help arrived unexpectedly, that was me. When peace entered your heart without explanation, that was me. When someone appeared at exactly the right moment, that was me. When your spirit whispered, "Keep going," that was me. I have been closer than you realize. My child, there were also things I protected you from within yourself. The decisions you almost made, the words you almost spoke, the places you almost went, the people you almost trusted, the choices that would have changed your future. Many times you were standing at the edge of something harmful, and I gently redirected your path. You became disappointed. You became confused. You even questioned my love. But my love was the reason I intervened, because I could see what you could not see. I knew where certain roads would lead. I knew the heartbreak waiting ahead. I knew the wounds that would follow. So I stepped in, not to punish you, not to control you, but to preserve you. My child, there are seasons when you only see what you lost. You focus on the doors that closed, the prayers that went unanswered, the opportunities that disappeared. But heaven often sees something very different. Heaven sees the danger you avoided. Heaven sees the pain that never reached you. Heaven sees the storms that passed around you. Heaven sees the mercy that surrounded your life. One day you will look back and understand. You will understand why certain people left. You will understand why certain plans failed. You will understand why certain prayers were delayed. And you will realize that I was not withholding good things from you. I was protecting the future I had prepared for you. Even now, while you listen to these words, I am still watching over you. I am still guiding your steps. I am still placing my hand upon your life. You may not always see my protection. You may not always understand my timing, but my love has never left you. My child, I have been holding back what would have destroyed you. I have been standing between you and the darkness. I have been carrying you through dangers you never knew existed, and if I have protected you through every yesterday, you can trust me with your tomorrow, because the same hand that carried you then is still holding you now. My child, after every long night, morning eventually comes. After every storm, the sky begins to clear. After every season of waiting, there comes a moment when everything starts to change. And I want you to hear me carefully. Your season is beginning to change. You may not see all the evidence yet. You may not understand everything that is happening. But heaven is already moving in places your eyes cannot see. For a long time, you lived in survival mode. You carried burdens. You fought battles. You endured disappointment after disappointment. You learned how to keep going even when your heart felt tired. But the season of merely surviving is not the season I prepared for you forever. Something is shifting. Perhaps you have already noticed it. The things that once held your attention no longer satisfy you. The fears that once controlled you have begun to lose their power. The pain that once seemed endless no longer feels as heavy. Something inside you has started to awaken. That is not an accident. That is my spirit moving within you. Many people wait for dramatic signs. They expect thunder. They expect miracles that everyone can see. But often I begin changing a season quietly. I change your heart before I change your circumstances. I restore your peace before I restore your situation. I heal your spirit before I open new doors. My child, one of the first signs that your season is changing is that hope begins to return. You may not know why. You may not understand it. But suddenly you begin believing that things can become better. Suddenly prayer feels possible again. Suddenly your heart begins to trust again. That is because I am breathing life into places that felt dead. Another sign is that certain things no longer fit your life. Old habits lose their hold. Certain relationships begin to fade. Distractions no longer satisfy you. You begin to desire peace more than chaos, truth more than comfort, faith more than fear. This is not weakness. This is transformation. I am preparing your heart for what comes next. My child, do not become discouraged because everything has not changed yet. Seeds grow beneath the ground before anyone sees the harvest. Sunrise begins before the world notices the light. And many times my greatest work happens where human eyes cannot see. While you are waiting, I am arranging. While you are praying, I am moving. While you are trusting, I am preparing. Heaven is not standing still. The prayers you thought were forgotten are not forgotten. The tears you cried are not wasted. The promises you hold are not dead. I am working even now. Perhaps you have noticed small moments of peace appearing unexpectedly. Perhaps you feel a desire to pray again. Perhaps you feel drawn toward hope. Perhaps you are beginning to believe that your story is not over. Those are signs. Those are reminders. Those are whispers from heaven telling you that change has already begun. My child, do not return to the place I am bringing you out of. Do not return to fear. Do not return to hopelessness. Do not return to the voices that convinced you to give up. The old season taught you lessons, but it does not define your future. You have spent enough time believing that nothing will change. You have spent enough time expecting disappointment. You have spent enough time carrying burdens that I never asked you to carry. Now I am teaching you to trust again. I am teaching you to hope again. I am teaching you to walk by faith again. The season ahead may still contain challenges, but you will not face them the same way, because now you know that I am with you. Now you know that I never abandoned you. Now you know that my hand has been guiding you all along. My child, if you feel the stirring inside your heart, pay attention. If you feel peace returning, protect it. If you feel hope rising, nurture it, because these are the first signs that your season is beginning to change. The waiting has not been wasted. The pain has not been meaningless. And the story I am writing in your life is not finished. What lies ahead is greater than what lies behind. Trust me a little longer. Walk with me a little farther, because the dawn you have prayed for is already beginning to rise. My child, there is one final battle that many people face just before their season begins to change. It is the battle with fear. Fear has spoken to you for a long time. It has told you that nothing will ever change. It has told you that you are too broken. It has told you that you have failed too many times. It has told you that your prayers are useless and your future is uncertain. For years, you have listened to its voice, and because fear speaks loudly, you began to believe that it was telling you the truth. But fear has never been your guide. Fear only shows you what could go wrong. I show you what is still possible. Fear tells you to stay where you are. I tell you to move forward. Fear says, you will fail again. I say, my grace is enough for you. Fear says, nothing will change. I say, I am making all things new. My child, many people stand at the edge of their miracle and walk away because fear convinces them to turn back. They pray for change, but become afraid when change begins. They ask for new doors, but fear walking through them. They ask me to lead them, but they hesitate when I ask them to trust. Do not let fear steal what I am preparing. You have already survived things you once thought would destroy you. You have walked through valleys you never imagined you could endure. You have carried burdens that felt impossible, and yet you are still here. Why? Because I have been with you. The same God who carried you through your darkest season will also lead you into your next season. Fear wants you to focus on your weakness. I want you to remember my strength. Fear wants you to remember your failures. I want you to remember my mercy. Fear wants you to look at the mountain. I want you to look at the one who created the mountain. My child, you do not need to understand every step before taking the next one. Faith is not having all the answers. Faith is trusting me when answers have not yet arrived. There may still be uncertainty ahead. There may still be challenges. There may still be days when you feel weak. But do not confuse weakness with defeat. Do not confuse waiting with abandonment. And do not confuse fear with wisdom. Many times fear disguises itself as caution. It says, wait a little longer. Do not trust again. Do not hope again. Protect yourself. Expect disappointment. But I am calling you to something greater. I am calling you to trust again, to pray again, to believe again, to hope again, because the miracle you are asking for often begins with a single act of faith. One prayer, one step, one surrender, one decision to trust me. My child, the enemy cannot stop what I have planned, but he will try to convince you to stop yourself. He cannot steal your purpose, so he tries to fill you with fear. He cannot destroy my promises, so he tries to make you doubt them. But today I want you to hear my voice above every other voice. You are not too late. You are not too damaged. You are not too far away. The future I have prepared for you still exists. The peace I promised still remains. The hope you lost can still return. So do not let fear speak louder than my promises. Do not let yesterday determine tomorrow. And do not let the pain of your past rob you of the future I am placing before you. My child, take my hand. Walk forward with me. The road ahead may still be unknown, but you do not walk it alone. And when fear whispers that your miracle is impossible, remember this. Nothing is impossible for the God who has carried you this far. My child, every life eventually arrives at a moment of decision. A moment when you can no longer remain where you have been. A moment when you must choose which voice you will follow. A moment when heaven gently places two roads before you. You are standing at that moment now. This is your divine crossroad. For a long time, you have walked between faith and fear, between hope and doubt, between surrender and control. Part of your heart wanted to trust me, while another part remained afraid. You wanted peace, but you also wanted certainty. You wanted change, but you feared leaving behind what was familiar, and so you stood still. But my child, there comes a time when standing still becomes its own decision. Today I am asking you to choose. You can continue carrying every burden alone, or you can place those burdens into my hands. You can continue listening to fear, or you can begin listening to my promises. You can continue running toward the noise of the world, or you can return to the peace of my presence. This is not a moment of condemnation. This is a moment of invitation. I am not forcing you. Love never forces. Love invites. And I am inviting you to trust me again. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to understand every step. You do not need to know exactly how your future will unfold. You simply need to say yes. Yes to faith. Yes to hope. Yes to trust. Yes to the possibility that your story is not finished. My child, there are seasons when I carry you. There are seasons when I protect you. But there are also moments when I ask you to take my hand and walk forward. This is one of those moments. Do not allow the pain of yesterday to decide tomorrow. Do not allow old disappointments to write the next chapter of your life. Do not allow fear to become your guide. You have listened to fear for too long. You have listened to doubt for too long. You have listened to the voices of the world for too long. Now listen to me. Choose peace. Choose faith. Choose hope. Choose life. Choose me. Because every choice you make today shapes the direction of tomorrow. One road keeps you trapped in the same fears. The other leads you toward healing. One road leads back to the pain you already know. The other leads toward the future I have prepared. One road says, stay where you are. The other says, walk with me. My child, heaven is not asking you for perfection. Heaven is asking for your trust. The angels are not waiting to see whether you are strong enough. They are waiting to see whether you are willing to believe again. Because faith does not begin when all your questions disappear. Faith begins when you trust me despite the questions. You are standing at a sacred intersection. The old season is behind you. The new season is before you. And I am standing beside you, extending my hand. Take it. Walk with me. Leave fear behind. Leave hopelessness behind. Leave the voices that told you that nothing would ever change. Because your story is not ending here. Your journey is not over. And this crossroad may become the very moment that changes everything. Choose faith, my child. And let us walk forward together. My child, after everything you have heard, after every word that has touched your heart, you now stand at a moment that heaven has been preparing for longer than you realize. This is not the end of the message. This is the moment of your answer. Throughout your life, I have been patient. I waited when you doubted. I waited when you wandered. I waited when fear convinced you to stay where you were. I waited when disappointment made you question my love. I never stopped calling your name. I never stopped reaching for your heart. And even now, I am still here. My child, heaven is waiting for your answer. Not because I do not know your heart. Not because I need your permission to love you. But because love always leaves room for choice. I created you with the ability to choose. Choose faith or fear. Choose hope or despair. Choose trust or doubt. Choose life, or continue carrying burdens alone. This moment belongs to you. Perhaps you believe you are too late. Perhaps you think you have failed too many times. Perhaps you wonder whether I could still use someone who has made so many mistakes. But listen carefully. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are not beyond my mercy. The enemy has spent years telling you that your story is over. I am telling you that your story is still being written. The future I showed you has not disappeared. The purpose I placed within you has not died. The promises I spoke over your life still remain. My child, many people spend their entire lives waiting for certainty before they choose faith. But certainty does not come first. Trust comes first. The disciples stepped before they understood. The miracles happened after people believed. The doors opened after someone knocked. Today I am asking you for one thing. Your yes. Not a perfect yes. Not a fearless yes. Not a yes that has every answer. Simply a willing heart. A heart that says, Lord, I trust you. Lord, lead me. Lord, I surrender. Because when you place your hand in mine, everything begins to change. Your circumstances may not change overnight. Your problems may not disappear immediately, but your heart will no longer carry them alone. Peace begins there. Healing begins there. Rest begins there. Even now, heaven is leaning close. The angels rejoice whenever one heart turns back toward hope. And today, my child, that heart can be yours. Do not believe that there will always be another moment. Do not wait until life becomes easier. Do not wait until you feel stronger. Come now. Trust now. Pray now. Because this very moment may become the moment you remember for the rest of your life. One day you may look back and say, that was the day I stopped running. That was the day I began trusting again. That was the day I finally answered the voice that had been calling me all along. My child, heaven is waiting. My hand is extended, my love remains. The door is still open, and your answer can begin with a single word. Yes. My child, there will come a day when you look back at this season and finally understand what you cannot understand today. You will see that the delays had a purpose. You will see that the pain was not wasted. You will see that the closed doors protected you. You will see that the waiting strengthened you. Right now, some of your questions remain unanswered. You still wonder why certain things happened. You still wonder why some prayers took so long. You still wonder why the road became so difficult. But I see the entire picture while you only see one chapter. I can see the ending while you are still walking through the middle of the story. One day you will realize that the struggle taught you dependence. The waiting taught you patience. The disappointment taught you faith. The loneliness taught you where true peace can be found. Nothing you have walked through has been meaningless. Not the tears. Not the heartbreak. Not the failures. Not the fears. I have used every season to shape your heart. I have used every battle to strengthen your faith. I have used every delay to prepare you for what is coming. My child, do not judge your entire life by one difficult season. The chapter you are in is not the whole story. The pain you feel is not the final sentence. The struggle you face is not the ending. I am still writing. I am still restoring. I am still working. And one day you will look back and say, now I understand. You will understand why you had to walk through the valley. You will understand why certain doors closed. You will understand why you had to wait. And when that day comes, you will see that I never left your side. I was with you in every moment. I carried you through every storm. And I will continue walking beside you until the very end. Heavenly Father, today I come before you with an open heart. I surrender my fears, my worries, my pain, and my burdens into your hands. Thank you for never abandoning me, even during the seasons when I felt alone. Thank you for protecting me when I could not see your hand. Thank you for carrying me through battles I could not fight by myself. Lord, heal the wounds inside my heart. Restore my faith where it has grown weak. Give me peace where there has been anxiety. Give me hope where there has been discouragement. Teach me to trust you again. Help me to hear your voice above the noise of the world. Guide my steps when I do not know where to go. Strengthen me when fear tries to overcome me. Remind me that I am never forgotten. Remind me that your plans for my life are still good. Today I choose faith over fear. I choose trust over doubt. I choose hope over despair. And I place my future into your loving hands. In Jesus' name, amen. My child, if this message has spoken to your heart, do not let this moment pass without responding. Faith often begins with a simple decision, a simple prayer, a simple declaration. If you believe that God is speaking to you today, type these words in the comments. Lord, I choose you today. Let this be your act of faith. Let this be your answer to the voice that has been calling you. And if you know someone who is carrying burdens, struggling with fear, or searching for hope, share this message with them. You never know whose life may change because you chose to care. Subscribe and continue walking this journey of faith with us. Remember this, my child. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not here by accident. Heaven interrupted your day for a reason. And perhaps years from now, you will look back at this very moment and say, that was the day I stopped running. That was the day I trusted God again. That was the day everything began to change. My child, the door is still open. My hand is still extended, and my love for you has never changed. Choose faith. Choose hope. Choose me.